Good morning, Legal Research and Writing 2. Welcome to the Level 2, a lot of twos in this intro edition of Insider Trading. Hope you've all had a great week. Happy Friday. Hope you're all staying warm. I hope if any of you have loved ones in parts of the country affected by some of this weather we've been having, that they are safe and they are well. And I hope that everything is otherwise well by you. Hi, Kyla. I got the chat going. So as is the case with every insider trading, we got it going last time. Please, we'll have a formal segment for questions and answers. But if you have questions, you want to say hello, you're not clear on something, please just pop in the chat, type it in. I'll see it, and I'll answer it at the most convenient moment. So with that, let's get to our agenda for today. And again, pretty standard. This is more or less what we will have as our standing agenda for each segment of insider trading. I will start off with a few announcements. Then there'll be a formal section for questions and answers. I didn't get any formal questions per se that I thought were worth handling in a question and answer segment. Again, I expect that to increase as the semester goes on, but I did pick up on a few things with regard to submissions of level 1 challenges and a little bit of back and forth I had with some folks. Obviously, we had some issues with Westlaw, as you probably saw on my Twitter yesterday as well. So what I'm going to do is address those things kind of as questions and answers. And as I previously mentioned, you got questions, please just post them in the chat. I'm more than happy to answer them. Once the formal part of our program is concluded, for those of you who that's all you're here for, you're free to sign off. You're free to stop watching. And then I will jump in. I'll share my legal entertainment pick for the week. I think it's a good one. It's a recent one and a very relevant one at the moment. And then, of course, we'll do, in closing, our next bonus level challenge. So moving right along to our announcements, I have a few. So the first is a reminder, the Westlaw Paralegal Training Certification, that is worth 10 points towards your final class grade. I went over it in the last insider trading, the one back 2 weeks ago for level 1. I went over it in each of your face-to-face team challenges. So now you should know exactly what to do. If you do not know exactly what to do, please go back, watch last week's or the insider trading from 2 weeks ago for level 1. And my announcement is just a simple reminder that is due, meaning I need that certificate via screenshot. It could be in a DM. It could be you tweet it at me. It could be you email it to me if you're not a registered Twitter user. All are fine. But I need to see that certificate with your name on it. And once you do that, 10 points towards your final class grade. Good training. Very easy way to get 10 points. And once that deadline passes, that's it. There is no policy for lateness on this particular assignment. It's just because you're given a long time, about 2 months to complete it, it's just done or it's not. A few folks have already gotten it to me, so please, if you haven't, it's a month away, but I'm telling you, we've had 2 months and time goes fast. So March 26th, Friday, March 26th, 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is when it is due, and get it done at some point in the coming weeks. The sooner the better, really, because then it's just something off your plate. So that's one announcement regarding to Westlaw. Samira asks, when did you say it was due? I'll repeat, Friday, March 26th. Friday, March 26th, 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And any of those submissions are fine. And I'm going to remind everybody, every single face-to-face, I'm going to remind everyone every single insider trading, because I don't want you to lose those points. Every single semester, I'm going to be candid and transparent about this. Every single semester, there is at least one, often more students who just don't submit this. And I find that so silly. I really, in a long time teaching now and a long time having to assign this particular training to my students, I have dreamed of the day where every student completes it and gets full credit. And for a period of nearly 10 years, that has eluded me. I would love nothing more than that to be the case this semester, that everybody successfully completes that. So please get it done. I'm going to keep giving you those reminders. As we get even closer, I'll start tweeting out reminders. No reason not to complete it. But again, time flies. So 2 months is now 1 month. So just keep it in the back of your mind. If there's a week that you're light on work, get it done. And what's nice is I'm giving you guys a little spring break week in this course that the university's not giving you. And it's due right before that. So the way I've structured the course, you'll see also when we get to level 4 and we're there, you're going to get a nice break. I don't want you doing work for my course on a week that is meant to be for you to kind of recharge and rest and relax a little bit and gear up for the final home stretch towards the end of the semester. So that is my first announcement regarding Westlaw. The second is Westlaw passwords. So I know a lot of you, there was craziness yesterday with Westlaw. So let's break it down. We, meaning St. John's University, we have a contract, we call it a license with Westlaw. And what happened is 2 days ago, we renewed our contract. So when we sign this, we do it for a period of years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever the case may be. I think it was 5. And we renewed that contract so that you could have access to Westlaw to learn. We could have access to Westlaw to teach as your faculty. And for whatever reason, when that happened, they kicked us all out of the system. So we signed this new contract. Within a couple hours, we were all kicked out of the system. And that wasn't just you guys. It was also me. I'm texting with Croft and Singh and Noe, and we're trying to figure out what's going on, why we're kicked out. And yesterday, we got that resolved, thankfully. We got it resolved. So if you've had Westlaw access, meaning you can sign on to the Westlaw Legal Research Database, you completed your level 1 challenge using Westlaw, you should be good to go. Your sign-on, your log-on should be working perfectly again. And then also, I tweeted about this yesterday. If you are someone, right, by now you should have reached out to me. And we've made it through all the teams, because I know like some teams meet with me on Monday and others on Friday. So, the timelines are slightly different in terms of when you're seeing me in person. But we spoke about in face-to-face how you need to reach out to me in some form, preferably DM, but also email if you're not a registered Twitter user, to give me your name and X number so that I can do the work of getting you your password for Westlaw. If you don't have Westlaw, I can get you set up on it. So this is sort of the last call. If you did not reach out to me stating that you need Westlaw access and giving me your X number, this is kind of it. When I receive the information or the message from any of you saying you need Westlaw, just to give you a little behind the curtain look of how it works, what I do is I share that with the Westlaw rep. So Westlaw has like a rep assigned to each school. I think they cover multiple schools, and frankly, they're not very good at their job. I probably shouldn't say that, but I give them your information, and then what they do is whenever they get around to it, which is generally speaking about a week. I don't want to guarantee a week, but in my experience, it's about a week. They'll kick those login credentials and registration keys back to me, and then I give them to you immediately. So anyone who has submitted their information to me, I've taken that step of submitting your information to Westlaw. So now it's just a waiting game. It's beyond my control, but I promise you this, the minute I receive them, you'll receive them too. The way I've structured this course, you're really able to get through level 2 without needing it. But my hope is certainly that by the time you guys are, we're really getting in the thick of level 2 next week with our face-to-face challenges, those passwords are available to everybody. And if anyone has questions, just tweet them at me, DM me, let me know. But that's the deal. So Westlaw, if you had access, it's back. Westlaw, if you didn't have access, your information's been submitted, and I'm waiting to just get your login info and share it with you. That's where we're at. All right. So those are my announcements regarding Westlaw. I have another announcement. I kind of teased this on my tweet yesterday on one of my tweets yesterday. I don't think this really doesn't have to do with the class. This is more of, and I'll do this from time to time if I think there's something that's important or interesting for you to know. I think it's worth sharing. And my guess is that as legal studies majors, as folks enrolled in a legal research and writing course, especially a legal research and writing 2, an intermediate level course, you're at the very least a legal studies minor, most likely a legal studies major, and probably thinking about attending law school. So LSAC, the Law School Admissions Council, and for those of you who don't know, they're the ones that do 2 things. They run the LSAT, the Law School Admissions Test, which is something you'll all have to take if you want to go to law school. And then they also are the sort of database that manages all of your law school applications. So you use them for 2 purposes. And as you get closer to applying, you'll learn more and more about this. You can talk to me. Of course, you can talk to other faculty. We run a lot of programs about it. In fact, later in the semester, we're going to do a program, Professor Singh and I, talking all about the LSAT and LSAC that we're bringing in a test prep company to do. But long story short is this. Obviously, with COVID-19, the LSAC is not administering the LSAT in face-to-face format. Back before COVID, you would go to a testing site and you would take the exam. Originally, it used to be multiple choice filled in bubbles. Now it's multiple choice all on a tablet or on a computer. But of course, with COVID, they transitioned the test to distance and remote formats. They call it remote or online proctoring. I'm sure you're somewhat familiar with that probably from some of your other classes here at St. John's perhaps. And I think what's important to know is that they've just extended the time for which the exam is going to be given remotely and electronically for a year. So initially they were supposed to get back to face-to-face. I think June of this year, June 2021 was supposed to be the last one that you would take online, and then they'd go back to face-to-face. But they've now extended that to June 2022, which is important to know because if you're someone who's considering or definitely taking the LSAT within the next calendar year or before up until June 2022, you should know, yeah, this is going to be a test I'm going to take on my computer. I don't have to worry about getting to a testing site or anything like that. And there's important considerations with that. Some people think it's better to be at home, but the truth is the LSAT is a time test. The LSAT's not about knowledge. It's not about having notes in front of you is going to help you. It's a skill-based test that you don't study for, you don't memorize for, you practice and prepare for. And what really makes it challenging is the time. But I would say this, for anyone who has to take it online, definitely make sure you're doing so in the right environment. When time is of the essence, you have 35 minutes per section, you don't want to be in a place with a lot of distractions. You don't want to be in a place where your attention can be drawn elsewhere. You want to be in a place where you can just focus and get the job done. So that's a consideration. The other thing LSAT announced is LSAC announced is that LSAT is going back to 4 sections. 4 sections. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with the LSAT, there were 3 graded sections, and they are logical reasoning, logic games, which in the next few years is actually going to get replaced as well, but probably not in the time frame any of you would be taking the exam, and then what we call reading comprehension. So those are the 3 sections. And when they started administering the exam remotely, they would only give those 3 sections, your logic reasoning, your logic games, and your reading comp. What they're doing now is they're doing a 4th section. All right, now, no need to panic, no need to get alarmed or anxious. They're just going back to something they used to do when the test was given in person. They're going to run what is called a test section. They're going to run a test section. Before COVID, what they would do is they'd have a 4-section. Actually, at one point it was a 5-section LSAT, but they made the writing part independent of the actual test now. But it was 4 sections, and what you would do is you'd have logic reasoning, logic games, and reading comprehension. And then what they would do is throw in that test section, meaning these are questions, you don't know which one is the test section, but these are questions that LSAT is trying out to see if they would make good real test questions. So what would happen is you'd have those 3 sections, and then you'd take one of those 3 sections a different time. One of those 3 sections would come back at you a second time, and when it did, that would be the test section. So you might have 2 logic reasoning or 2 logic games or 2 reading comps. But here's the catch. you don't know, you never knew which one was the test section and not. So you had to answer it like you're really taking it. And they are bringing that back. So it'll be from 3 sections to 4 sections now, back to 4 sections. So that's something to be aware of too when you're preparing for the LSAT or starting to think about the LSAT. Again, Professor Singh and I are going to throw a program later in the semester for you guys to learn a lot more about the LSAT. But in the meantime, of course, I'm here to answer questions about the course and about legal research and writing. But I'm also here to answer a lot of your questions about things like law school and questions about the LSAT and LSAC and the law school application process, as well as careers in the legal field. So never be afraid to ask. And when I think there's good information worth sharing, like this new update from LSAC about LSAT changes, I will share it. All right. And now this is kind of a transition here. So again, I didn't really receive a ton of formal questions that require answering regarding course content, but we're now halfway through level 2. The overwhelming majority of you have submitted your level 1 challenge, the individual part of it. We've been through this cycle once. We got a good indication of how the rest of the semester is going to work through these next 5 levels and into what I'm calling the final challenge, which will be your final memo at the end of the semester. But I have had some back and forth with folks, and I've made some observations. So even though I think I did, in fairness, a pretty good job making this clear in the course intro video way back from the middle of January, where I walk you through the syllabus, I want to go over a few things one more time with just a clear reminder. And if you're someone who really has the gist of what's going on, my apologies, because if you get it, you're what's going on, you're really not, you don't need this little lecture that I'm about to give on how the course works and my expectations. Thank you for knowing what's going on. And again, I ask your indulgence as I go through this. All right. So first of all, this is the last disclaimer I'm going to give like this during this semester. We're 3 weeks in, we're halfway through level 2, and business is about to pick up in this course, not slow down. So if you're someone who's just like completely clueless, and the good part is, like, how I know if I'm doing my job? I like to be transparent with my students. When I have 60 students and like 48 of them get it right, I know I'm doing my job, all right? So this kind of goes out to that 12 who are not. Business is about to pick up, okay? If you don't pick up with it, you're in for a very, very long semester. I have folks out there who just flat out never submitted their assignment. I have folks out there who still, based on their indication into me in communications, have no idea what team they're on. I have students who don't watch the lectures, which is very evident from the assignments they submitted, nor did they pay attention in their face-to-face. And again, I'll say it as nicely as I can. You're just going to have a very long, difficult semester. This is a course that is structured in such a way that if you do what you're supposed to do, it's very, very, if you do everything you're supposed to do and nothing more, just what you're supposed to do, you get a B. Mathematically, that's how I have designed the course. If you then start putting in that extra amount of work, or you put in that little bit of extra effort, whether it's in face-to-face, whether it's on the challenges, whether it's on your final memo, from there, it becomes very easy with just a little bit of effort to get to an A-, to get to that A. It's well within your reach. You actually have to basically not do anything to do worse than a B in this class. If you end up with worse than a B in this class, that's on me. How do you do that? You don't show up for face-to-face. You don't go to your team challenges. You don't hand in you don't submit your challenges. Those are the ways that happen. And it comes down to basic things, okay? It comes down to basic things. I go above and beyond, in my opinion, to try to make things clear, okay? Read, watch, listen, pay attention, okay? Read, watch, listen, and pay attention. Read, watch, listen, and pay attention. And then do. It's not a complicated formula, All right. I can do somersaults to teach you legal research and writing, but I cannot, right? I can't read for you. I can't write for you. I can't listen for you. I can't pay attention for you, and I can't do for you. And this isn't just about like my class. Like if you're incapable of doing those things, if you're like 18 years old, 19, 20, 21 years old, and you can't do those things, you're not only will it be a long semester for you, it will be a very long life for you. I can speak from experience when I say that, okay? Please read my tweets. Watch my YouTube videos. Listen in face-to-face. Pay attention in face-to-face and to everything I'm giving you. Follow directions, all right? And I'm not doing this because, Murphy's trying to be very hard on us and he's a tough, demanding professor. No, that's the real world. That's the real world. It's the real world that I'm preparing you for, okay? I had one assignment, or I had a lot of some assignments submitted incorrectly. I received some assignments, the whole thing. Email me 5 links. I received emails with no links at all. I don't know what that's about. I received assignments through Canvas. I've made it very clear. We're not using Canvas. The only thing Canvas is for your grades, right? That's the only thing Canvas is for your grades. Do not submit your assignments through Canvas. And I wrote back to this person and I said, I'm not trying to be difficult, but if this was a court, if I was the courthouse and there were rules or directions for how to file a document with the court and you didn't listen to them, your filing is no good. The court doesn't take it. It's not sorry, I know. When you're told email it and then you do it a different way, the court doesn't care. The court's like, you were supposed to email it. That filing was not received now and your client is screwed. And that's where I'm coming from when I try to get you to do certain things in certain ways. It's not because email is easier. It don't matter. It's the directions need to be followed. They need to be followed in a law office. They need to be followed in a court. If you're someone who's not great at picking up on and following directions, again, you got to start working on that because lawyers, as a career, follow rules and laws. That's what we do. You can't deviate from it and then ask for the judge's forgiveness. It doesn't work that way. So that's number one. Number two, I want to be really clear on the grading for these things, which I think, again, I was back in my course intro video, but I'm going to go through it one more time. So there are 6 challenges throughout the semester, 6 face-to-face, what we call level challenges. And then you're going to have your final challenge, which is completely on your own. Not really. We're going to work on parts of it in our level challenges. You'll see how that goes, but you submit that on your own. But there's these 6 level challenges that you do part of it with your team and part of it on your own. All right. When you show up for your face-to-face meeting with me and you and your team successfully complete that part of the challenge, that is 10 points. Each level challenge is worth 15 points. That there, you've gotten 10 just by coming and by being part of your team and participating. And by now you've all seen that you're going to need to participate. You're going to need to have watched the lectures to have some idea of what's going on. That's going to get even more so as the levels go on. So that right there is 10. Then there will be the take-home part of the challenge. That's what you do on your own, and there'll be different directions. This time it was email me links. Next week it'll be something different that you have to do, and that is for 5 points. That is for 5 points, for a total of 15. So 15 points per challenge. There's 6 challenges, right? Now, you have something in your back pocket throughout the semester called a free pass. You have something called a free pass. That free pass can be used in one of 2 ways, right? Because if you do the math, if you score perfectly on everything this semester, you would have 115 points. The course is worth 115 points, right? You don't get over 100 points in the class. Let me explain how it works. So there's the 6 challenges, and you have this free pass. The free pass can be used in one of 2 ways. Number 1, if you complete all 6 challenges, and you didn't miss any face-to-face, or if you did, instead you joined another team, right, which is your option. If you can't make your own face-to-face, the option is you can join another team, and you did that. You've completed all 6 challenges. You then, at the end of the semester, I will, without asking you, take your free pass and use it to knock out your lowest challenge score. That's how that works. So at the end of the semester, one of the 6 challenges, if you've done them all, the lowest one, say it was a 13 out of 15, will just disappear. It'll turn into a 0 in my grade book on Canvas, right? That is one way you may use your free pass. However, you might be someone who, by the end of the semester, you did really well on 5 challenges. You've successfully completed 5 challenges, and you don't feel like doing a 6th. You might have some reason why you can't attend a face-to-face team challenge in one of the weeks that they're given. And you can use that free pass as I don't care why, I don't need to be told. That could be your free pass too. So if you flat out miss a challenge, then that could be your free pass as well, right? So that's how that works. So it's not like I complete 6 challenges and they all suck. I only got 10 on each, but the points add up. No, you are losing whether you use your free pass because you miss a face-to-face challenge or not. You are using a free pass this semester. One of those challenge scores is disappearing. Which one it is sort of up to you. If you do all 6, then it'll be the lowest score. If you only complete 5, meaning you use your free pass to just flat out miss, which is fine. You're entitled to do that. To miss a face-to-face challenge altogether, a level challenge altogether, then it'll be that one. And that's how that works, right? So I want to be crystal clear on that, because again, there were people last semester who were a little unsure about that, a little fuzzy. I want to put the record straight on that. I know there were a few people who didn't score as well as they hoped, and again, there's people who showed up for face-to-face, and I don't even know if they know it, because they probably fall into that category of not following directions and not paying attention. They're going to walk away with a 10 out of 15 because I didn't receive their assignment. All right, so there it is for the record. One more thing I want to be super clear about. Your face-to-face, the take-home part of your level challenge is due 1 week. You have a week. So it's at the time your face-to-face would start a week later. So if you had your face-to-face Monday at 12:15, your assignment, your take-home part, is due the following Monday at 12:15. Right? What happens when it's late? When it's late, a 1 point is automatically deducted. A clock starts, a 24-hour clock. If I get to 12:15 on Tuesday, now you've lost 2 points. 12:15 on Wednesday, you've now lost 3 points. Thursday, that's 4 points. And then Friday, finally, if you were a Monday face-to-face, but obviously take your own day and extrapolate it out. If I make it to Friday, 12:15, and still haven't gotten it, you're going to just get that 10 out of 15. You're going to get that 10 out of 15. All right? Please feel free. Ask me any questions you have about that. But again, that's kind of the last time. And my guess is, again, if you're taking the time to actually join me live right now, you're not part of the group of individuals and people that I'm talking about. You're doing everything right, would be my hope. But that's the last disclaimer I'm gonna give. I think by now we should all know what's going on. I've said it enough times on YouTube in posterity, meaning you can go back and watch it whenever you want. I've said it in all of your face-to-faces, and I have said it on Twitter. So it's all there. It's all memorialized. There's a record of it. Full transparency, there's always a couple students who at the end of the semester want to challenge their grade and all that. You know what? Sometimes it might work for you with like an old history professor or something. It ain't gonna work with me. I'm a lawyer, and literally all I gotta do is print out. Here's my Twitter page. Here's the YouTube video where I said it. Here's the syllabus where it says it. You're not gonna win. You're not gonna win. You're just going to ensure that I won't write you a recommendation ever. All right. So sorry about that. I don't like to be stern. I don't like to be cross. Again, I know I'm preaching to a choir here for the folks that are here live, but please, when you're watching this later or at some point in the future, bear in mind what I'm saying. Bear in mind what I'm saying, because business is about to pick up in this course. It's not about to slow down. And with that concludes kind of the formal part of our insider trading today. So if you have any interest in what I'm about to do now with the entertainment picks and bonus level, enjoy your weekend. But if you are, hang tight and we'll get right into that. So Murphy's legal entertainment pick from the week. This is a recent one. This is like not even Yeah, I think this aired for the first time last week or 2 weeks ago. I forget. So this is a documentary dealing with pop star Britney Spears. It is available. I should have picked a better picture. It is available on both FX. So if you're someone with cable and you have FX on demand, or you're someone that has Hulu, it's on FX on Hulu. I'm sure there's a lot of other ways to stream it on the internet as well. Those are the ones I'm aware of. And it's not about what you'd think. So I'm unsure about the level of familiarity that many of you have with Britney Spears. So to give you a little background, Britney Spears, back when I was even younger than you, so you're talking 90s, like I was in high school, Britney Spears was like the biggest thing in the world as far as music was concerned. I don't know who the comparison is now, whether it's The Weeknd or Post Malone or I don't even know anymore, because it's always changing. And despite enjoying contemporary pop music and hip hop R&B music and alternative music and EDM music as I do, it's sometimes kind of hard to keep up. Plus, music's so diverse. The music industry from when I was in college to now that you guys are is so different. We used to go to the store and buy albums. Now, it's not even predicated that way. It's based on singles and downloads and iTunes. The whole industry has changed so much. And that's a good thing, I think, because it helps the artists get paid a little bit more. It's a different system. There's arguments about that. Some will tell you that the artists don't get paid as much. I think it's a better system for them because they're not as beholden to a label. And it allows for really great diversity in music. But long story short, Britney Spears was pretty much the biggest thing going in music in the world. And then what you probably, if you're familiar with her story, think this might be about is that, she kind of lost her mind. She had sort of a psychotic break, a mental breakdown, and it was very, very public. It was all over the news. At one point, she shaved her head and attacked a paparazzi's van with an umbrella. There's famous pictures out there. And they get into that in this documentary, but that's not really what it's about. What it's about and why it pertains to us, right, in a legal research and writing class and with legal studies students, is because it details something that happened after that. So when Britney Spears, of course, being a massive pop star, her net worth and her fortune, her estate is worth, we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars. And there she is shaving her head and on a whim and beating up paparazzi with an umbrella. And what happened then is legal proceedings started. And these legal proceedings revolve around the idea of what's called a conservatorship. So here's what a conservatorship is. A conservatorship is a proceeding that'll be had in the court when we have an adult, and typically it's for older adults. And when I say older, I mean 80-year-olds, 90-year-olds, perhaps individuals suffering from some sort of Alzheimer's or dementia. And basically what we're saying is they're mentally unfit to manage their own financial affairs and to manage their own life. So a loved one, a representative, goes to the court and files for what's called a conservatorship, saying, hey, I'm going to take control of this person's finances. I'm going to take control of their lifestyle and so forth, and help them make decisions because they're incapable of doing so due to a mental condition from which they're suffering. And that's what happened to Britney Spears. Britney Spears, her father, went to court and successfully became conservator of her estate. Now, that in itself is pretty interesting. But what this documentary focuses on is that was a long time ago, almost 15 years ago. And here we are in 2021, and Britney Spears is sort of like, I don't want to do this anymore with my dad. And all the legal proceedings she's bringing to have the conservatorship undone, to say my father should not have control anymore. I know enough now, and I'm well enough, and I'm in a good enough place where I can take control, and that should be the case. And the court keeps shutting her down. So this is a very, very interesting area of law. The closest course you could take dealing with this at St. John's is probate law. But really, really interesting watch that documents sort of a fallen star, gives you an appreciation for how big she actually was. and then goes into these very nuanced, unique legal arguments that you don't hear about all the time. So that is my legal entertainment pick of the week, Framing Britney Spears, and you can find it. So Kyla actually says, but she has no real control over her money. That's the point, Kyla. What she's saying is, back then when the court put this into place, I was not mentally fit. We use the term fitness. I was not mentally fit enough to be in control of my own money. So the court put her dad in charge of her own money. And by the way, it's more than her money. It's where she can live, where she can go. He makes all her decisions. What she's saying now, though, almost 15 years later in 2021 is, hey, I am in a place now where I can do this. So she's going to court to get her dad removed, And what's crazy is, you'll see when you watch, she's paying for all of it. So because of the setup of what a conservatorship is, not only is she paying for herself, her own estate is paying for her dad to kind of fight against her. So it's a pretty interesting case. There's a lot of people that are involved. There's what's called a hashtag Free Britney movement. I think it's an important issue, conservatorship law, and perhaps it's definitely too stringent. Without getting really political about it, I think some of these people need to find the better things to do with their time. But in terms of a legal perspective, it's fascinating, and it definitely shines light on that there needs to be change. Thank you for your input, Kyla. Okay, and that brings us to the giveaway, the bonus level, right? Bonus level giveaway time. You get a car. You get a car. All right. So last time was the $5 Dunkin' Donuts gift card. I only had 2 winners. I'm going to be honest. I think I made it too hard. Last semester, I feel like I made these things too easy. I think I made that last one a little too hard. So I'm going to try to make it a little easier now. I'm going to try to make it a little easier this time. So level 1 is behind us. We're now into level 2. And the first 5 people to successfully complete the level 2 bonus level challenge will get, of course, a point. But anybody who successfully completes it gets a point towards the raffle at the end of the semester. It says grand prize TBD, but that's going to be for the LSAT course. But this week is a good one. The first 5, everybody will get a point who does it, but the first 5 will get the extra free pass. So I spent some time talking about free pass and how you can use it. Well, here's a chance to get another one. So you could have up to 2 free passes this semester if you're one of these 5 folks. So here's what I'm looking for. And again, I'm going to make this a little simpler than last time. Here's what I'm looking for. You're all on a team. You're all assigned to a team. And if you haven't noticed by yet, those teams have names. And every team is named after a United States Supreme Court justice, one who I think, in my opinion, as an attorney, as a professor, just as an American, had a very forceful historical role in terms of shaping our country. So, of course, we have Justice Marshall, first African-American justice on the United States Supreme Court. We have Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who sadly passed away last year, who was just a crusader and unequaled advocate for gender equality. We have Justice Anthony Kennedy, who for a period of 30 years was known as the moral compass and swing vote of the court. Justice Earl Warren, I can go on and on and on. Justice Sonia Sotomayor, first Hispanic Supreme Court justice, and from our very own backyard in the Bronx, and also ended the 1995 baseball strike, in addition to a lot of other great jurisprudence. So just an incredibly impressive list of justices. So here is the bonus level challenge, and please follow these directions. You're going to DM this to me if you are on Twitter. I prefer you DM. But if you're not on Twitter, meaning you're not registered as a Twitter user, you don't have the option to DM, you can email it to me. I want you to go and find, I don't need a link to the actual decision. I want you to go out and find an opinion written by the justice for which your team is named. So if you're on Team Ginsburg, you need to go get an opinion written by Justice Ginsburg. If you're on Team Sotomayor, you need an opinion written by Justice Sotomayor. Team Kennedy, opinion written by Justice Kennedy. Team Marshall, opinion written by Justice Marshall. So on. Now, I don't want you to send me a link to this case or that. It's not about finding it for me. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to find it, and then I want you to read it. I want you to read it. So you might want to pick one that's not too long, or I mean, if it's a really good one, maybe a long one's a good thing. You really learn a lot reading it. Doesn't matter to me. I want you to pick an opinion, go out and find an opinion from the justice for which your team is named, and then write me a short, when I say short, 2-paragraph, maybe 500 words, somewhere between maybe 350 and 500 words. I want you to write me from an opinion piece, sort of like an opinion, an op-ed from you about why that particular opinion that you picked from your justice that your team's named after is so historically important. So you find that opinion written by the justice that your team is named for, and then in about 350 to 500 words, you're going to write me a little op-ed from you on your opinion, so you don't got to go out and do any research really beyond finding that other case, about why that particular opinion is so historically important. What about it? Right? Again, I'll use Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Was it about gender equality? I can use Anthony Kennedy. Was it about marriage equality? Was it about election law when you're talking about Anthony Kennedy? Was it about federalism in the late 90s when you're talking about Anthony Kennedy? Right? So there's no shortage of opinions out there written by those particular Supreme Court justices that your teams have been named for. So you find one that's from your team for the justice that your team's named after. In about 350 to 500 words, you write me an op-ed, and you'll get the point. So you'll get two things. Number one, you get a bonus level point. That's your name in that drawing one time for the end of the semester. When I draw for the LSAT course, the free $1,700 test LSAT Max LSAT course. And then the first 5 who do this, the first 5 will get an extra free pass. And this challenge will continue all the way until the next challenge starts 2 weeks from now on the level 3 insider trading. So that is that. If anyone in the chat has any questions, I am happy to answer them. You get them in right now. If not, I will be seeing y'all next week. Hopefully the weather, this bad weather is behind us. I'll be seeing you guys face to face in your level 2 challenges. By now, I hope you know who our client is. I hope you know what his legal issues are. I hope you know what strategies we're using to help research those legal issues. And then once we start finding sources of law that speak to those legal issues, I hope you know how we start analyzing them and breaking them down so they make sense to us working specifically for a client. So those are the things we're going to be focused on, and your challenge will be dependent on your ability to do all those things. Thank you, Samira. You too. Stay warm. Have a great weekend. All right. If there are no other questions, going once, twice, 3 sold. All right. I will sign off. Like Samira said, have a great weekend. Stay warm, stay safe, stay healthy, and most importantly, stay happy. I will be seeing you guys next week in face-to-face. If you need me, you DM me, email me, tweet me. Thank you, Noah. Thank you, Nick. Thank you guys as well. I'll be seeing you soon. All right. Take care and enjoy.